Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel and another brick building video. So we're gonna do another Limo, and I gotta say I'm not very excited because so far the Limo builds I've done have been really bad. So first we had the Challenger 2, which had wrongly molded pieces for the cannon, so I couldn't properly build the cannon. And then we had the Leopard, which is one of my favorite tanks, and that was just, the build was just so bad, it just fell apart, you know, just touching it and so on. So I'm not like expecting much from this. This is the T-72 AMT, so I mean, at least it's a Ukrainian tank, so maybe they're better at doing a model of that than they are of doing British and German tanks. We'll see. So this has 471 pieces. It is model number KB1130. So it's not like the other ones. It's not a very big one, and we get two figures too, which we're not going to build because they're all the same. And for some reason, they're always included in the Limo and in the iBlocks. They're always included. And I never build them because I think they're not good quality. And it's very strange because the third Ukrainian brand, Teco, they never have figures, which is one of the reasons why I like them. So let's see what we have inside here. Okay, so we have our instruction booklet, and it's a lot smaller than the one we had for our Leopard. And then here we have the instructions for making the figures, and it's taped on here, so that's breaking already. Let's see. And then we have our two stickers here, so I'm just gonna put that to the side. And tracks and movies. So here we have our figures. I'm going to put that aside too, since I'm not going to build the figures. Okay, here we have, this is a first, these are the guns for the figures. So it looks like some kind of pistol and some kind of Star Wars looking rifle. Kind of looks like an STG-44 with a scope. So yeah, I'm not gonna have that either. And then all of these are numbered, but they're all number 1, which is kind of weird. And here we have more tracks. So it did look like we had tracks, yeah. So we have tracks in this bag, and then we have one bag with only tracks. And these tracks look different to all the other tracks I ever used. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe we actually get a first time where we can actually use the tracks on the model. That would be cool. Well, there's only one way to find out, guys. Let's build and see what happens. Well, after 2 hours, here we are. So I spent about 1 hour 45 minutes building and 15 minutes sorting all of the pieces. And I can say that unfortunately I didn't have high expectations, but this is the worst one yet. It had some, first of all, it had some very bizarre build techniques. Like when I was building, I was thinking like a person can't have done this. This has to, like the instructions and the design, it has to have been done by AI or something, because no sane person would come up with this with this plan to build this thing, because it was just so bizarre the way you started with it. You did the bottom first here. Oh, you see it's just falling apart, and that's another thing. But back on track, haha. When you built the bottom here, you if you watch my speed build, you can slow it down 4 times. You will kind of see that it's really bizarre, because you start building these things that you have to line up. It's just so strange and time consuming. There's really no reason to have the design like that. So I just don't understand why they would do that. The second problem with it is that everything falls apart. There is so many pieces on this thing that just it sits on like pieces like this, and they will sit on one piece on the edge. So when you're building this thing, it's constantly falling apart in your hands. Even if you're really careful, it's just gonna keep falling apart. And this also makes the build time really long, because so many times I had to rebuild it because it just fell apart. And a real problem with this is that even now that it's built, if I touch it too much, it's going to fall apart internally. And if that happens, oh boy, are you in for a treat. So that's going to be the third point of the big problem with this model, is that the instructions are quite unclear, and I had to backtrack a few times. And dude, if you get this and you have to backtrack, well, good luck, buddy. There's so many pieces in this, and the way that these things line up into each other, into the hole, that if you have to backtrack, you might have to take the whole thing apart. Like, there was one thing I had to fix, and man, I had to take the whole thing apart. You can see this, probably, I'm guessing, because I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but this one is kind of leaning toward this direction, so I think there might be a loose piece inside, but I'm not even going to try to attempt to fix it, because if I tried before, and it just falls apart in your hands. The fourth and the last problem with this thing is that we have these tracks. They look nice, they're quite wide, but they don't work. And they might work if you press it really hard, but if you press it really hard, I promise you it's gonna fall apart. It's the same thing with the turret. It barely moves, and if you touch it too hard, yeah, there we go, fell apart. And I don't know why it's doing that, or if maybe it's not supposed to spin, I don't know. But yeah, let's see if I can get this back here. There we go. Yeah, you see it's very hard to manipulate it. Oh, and yeah, you see there's pieces here too that's kind of in the way. So the overall design is just horrible. So for features on this thing, we have 2 hatches here, which strangely the hatches themselves don't. Oh, you see. The hatches themselves don't open, but there's a platform under the hatch that opens. And yeah, that one doesn't really, you see, fell apart. Yeah, this is, again, this is, I'm very scared now, because I purchased some really big Limo toy models, which have like over 1,000 pieces. So I don't know how the heck I'm gonna build those things. I'm assuming they're gonna be worse. Yeah, then we have this little space gun here, which is a weird design. It looks like a Star Wars gun or something. It's on here, and yeah, you can manipulate that with the chopped off arm from a black man that's sitting here attached to the tank turret. And yeah, again, very strange. The gun does go up and down, and that actually does that without a problem. I would guess this is the only feature of the tank that you could use without much of a problem. So there you have it, guys. This is the Limo T-72 AMT. A horrible build. I would not recommend to anyone. I reckon I paid something like $7 or something for it, and I think that's $6.99 too much in considering what I think it's worth, because this is a horrible model, and I don't think it looks even particularly good now that it's done. So I can't see a single advantage to this. If I did my reviews and gave out points from 1 to 100, this would be a minus 100. No, but it would probably be a very low score, maybe a 5 or something like that. Gets 2.5 points for every Ukrainian flag on the model. Well, guys, that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video more than I enjoyed making it. If you did, please leave a comment. Take a second, just like the video. If you want to help me out a little bit extra, you can also become a supporting member of the channel or do a one-time donation with YouTube Super Thanks or PayPal. Alright guys, thank you for watching. See you next time.